What's up, everyone? John Rettinger here from Techno Buffalo, live from CTIA 2012 with a first look and test drive of the new Ford Focus Electric. This guy is coming to market in mid-May for $39,000 before $7,500 tax credit. You're gonna get about 78 to 100 miles per charge. It's gonna get between 105 and 110 mpge with pretty aggressive regen braking. But that's just me talking about it. Let's go in and take a look and drive the new Ford Focus Electric. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the car on now. It's got the same push button start we've seen in previous Ford vehicles, and that is it. The car is on, no noise at all. We'll go ahead and put it in drive, and we will start moving. One of the cool things about electric cars, you get that instant torque. And for those of you not really familiar with what torque is, essentially it's what's pushing the car. So think about it when you're using an electric drill, for example. As soon as you put that drill to the wood and you hit the button, you've got the full power of that drill. The same thing with an electric car. With the gas engine, as you drive, you gotta wait for your RPMs to go up 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 RPMs before you get that maximum sort of push on the car. Electric cars, it's on instantly. As I'm driving right now and coasting, I'm actually doing something called regenerative braking. For those of you that might have used hybrids in the past, that's how the battery packs and the hybrids are being charged. Ford is taking advantage of that same regenerative braking technology in the electric cars. As I'm coasting here with no foot on any sort of pedal, and as I come and sort of coast to a stop, turning generators, just putting electricity back into the battery packs. So it's a way that you can get a little extra juice without having to plug in. We've got a 23 kilowatt total battery pack, about 18 is usable. You can go from 0 to fully charged in just about 3 hours. So, realistically, a few hours to be juiced up and ready to go. So you are limited to range. One of the big obstacles electric car manufacturers have to fight is that range anxiety. You always worry about, you're gonna run out of gas, you're gonna run out of juice. One other thing that's always being brought up to us with electric cars is, where's the electricity coming from? One of the arguments that's made is that making electricity is just as dirty as burning gas. And in some ways, that's true, depending on where your electricity comes from, whether or not your grid is considered smart. But one of the neat things about electric powertrains, though, is it doesn't care where the electricity comes from. If you've got solar panels on your roof, same electricity. If you've got crazy wind turbines, same electricity. What electric cars are going to do is sort of force that paradigm shift to create a little bit of cleaner energy. So you can reduce not only your carbon footprint, but also hopefully in the future, when there's a reason to have a cleaner grid, you'll be able to decrease the amount of coal that's being burnt to drive an electric car. And sort of having that and getting these cars on the road is really the first step to shifting away from gasoline. So as we're here at a stop, we can take a look at two LCD panels. So the one on the left is Energy Coach. It's going to tell us how we're doing with acceleration, braking, and cruising. And it'll change sort of as we go. It'll tell you our energy history, what we're using, 51-ish miles left to go on a particular charge. The screen on the right is going to be sort of the My4 Touch connectivity options that we've seen in the past, entertainment options, and phone, compass, surplus, and a few other menu type options. The car here can be transformed into a Wi-Fi hotspot. So it's got USB ports. You go ahead and plug in a MiFi dongle. So if you've got a Verizon dongle, or you've got an AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever it might be, go ahead and turn this car into a complete Wi-Fi hotspot, which is kind of a neat feature. Ford is starting to become synonymous with technology. The Ford My4 Touch system, especially with the new update, not only made it easier to use, but brings a ton of connectivity options. Breaks everything down into a 4-way grid. Go ahead and link down below to see our coverage of the My4 Touch system. In all honesty, it feels like I'm driving any other car, although a very, very quiet car. If you've driven some of the high-end luxury cars, like Mercedes, that have incredible noise dampening, you don't hear much of the engine or the cabin noise, especially in the days now of direct injection, when you constantly hear that tick, or diesel cars when you hear that diesel noise. It's a very surreal experience to drive in complete quiet. The only thing I hear is my own voice, which some of you guys might be sick of already, and the air conditioning blowing. But it is absolutely dead silent. As I'm accelerating just a little bit, I can feel that sort of low-end torque that I'd be used to getting in maybe, third-ish gear on a standard manual transmission, or third gear equivalent on a CVT. But for the most part, this feels like driving any other car. It just happens to get its power from electricity. If you haven't tried an electric car and you've got preconceived notions about an electric car, go to the dealership and give it a drive, whether or not it's a Focus Electric or one of the other manufacturers. It's something that you really need to experience to see what it's like. It's very interesting, it's very fun. It's not that go-kart experience that some people might expect with an electric car. So whether or not you can use this as your everyday driver, as your only car, it's gonna depend on your needs. Most people, they say drive 38 to 40 miles. And by most people that say that, that's me. I just made that figure up. It seems accurate. But you know, if you do a lot of driving, certainly you're going to want a second car in the family. Or if you've got a short commute, something like this might be a really perfect option for running around town, picking up the kids, going to the grocery store, or showing off the latest tech to your friends. So for a full upcoming review, we'll have a Ford Focus Electric in the Techno Buffalo Labs. But for a first drive experience, come away very impressed. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo, and we are live in New Orleans from CTIA 2012. And this has been a first look at the Ford Focus Electric. See you guys next video.